Hello and welcome to the mill. I am one of your hosts, Dusty, and joined today by Molly, and we are talking I
Hello.
guess it would be September Stonemaier eNewsletter, and the title that you see behind Molly and I, Apiary, is the big news this month. And yeah, Molly, do you want to go ahead and just mention a little bit about the game?
Sure. So I've only had it for a few days so far, but I have played it at two players. And Apiary is a worker placement game, and the theme is bees, but they did a little pivot on just bees, and it's space bees. So it's set far in the future after humans have died out. And I'm
Yes,
excited to talk about it more in the future. Just a little nervous about saying too much, but um,
right.
excited for more.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, especially when you're first getting started in content creation, you have an advanced copy, and knowing exactly what you can say and when is a little bit, uh, I guess, difficult or wrought with, we'll say, landmines, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it's totally fine for us to talk about having it. I have not yet had a chance to play it yet at any player count, but I am working on it, and it's pretty stunning actually that. I just kind of put something on my Facebook wall and said, anyone local who wants to play, hit me up, and I got people wanting to drive from out of state to play it. And some of them are play testers of the game, so they're already familiar with it. And if they're willing to drive a state or two over to play it, that might bode well.
That's really cool. You'll get a good perspective on it from a bunch of people. I always am able to play two player, three player, and then I have a five-player game group. So I have all those lined up. By the
Oh,
time we're able to talk about the game more, I'll have a
that's
few different player counts under my belt.
that's awesome. That'll definitely be cool to have that um, perspective there, because yeah, if I get to play, it's going to be two player or solo. And I don't get the impression that this one was, kind of like Expeditions was. The Automa plays like players two and three. I don't know yet how this one works in terms of you're simulating a three-player game or if it is just a two-player game. But yeah, just I mean, some of the stuff that Jamie's already talked about that sounds interesting is this element of player bumping, and how that if I bump you off of a spot, you have a choice to make. You can strengthen your B, which maybe disincentivizes me from taking that spot, or you also don't want to make your B too strong, because then once they reach the end of that, or the height of their strength, then they have to go into hibernation. So um, really, really interesting. It seems like we have kind of the same appeal that Wingspan did, where people that, even though this is space bees, originally the theme was Earth bees, and Connie Vogelman, the designer of this, first time designer, is actually a beekeeper, and bee kept with her grandfather, who was a lifelong beekeeper. So no question about it. There's a lot of research that went into that. So the people that are into normal bees will probably find something there in the space bees. Um,
I think
but
so
yeah,
too, and I think that tends to create something special. Games dripping with theme, and it can bring in people who care about that theme, not necessarily board games. Really create a space for it, like Wingspan did. That the Wingspan community always amazes me. They are so filled with love for birds.
oh, absolutely, 100%. It is really cool to see how that
Meet a lot of
really.
beekeepers.
Right, right. I may have just had a little technical glitch. I may have talked over you a little bit, Molly, but I
Oh,
didn't hear it on my end here until just then. But I agree with you. It is very cool when you have the natural world, and the people in Wingspan's case, the people that were bird watchers, and how they embraced Wingspan, and how it found appeal even outside of the the typical hobby board gaming groups, and then hopefully we see the same with Apiary. And I did post in the Facebook group, which there is a new Facebook group for the app or for the game. I'm sure there'll be an app one day. But you know, I mentioned in the Facebook group, I really do hope that it takes on kind of that same life and personality that the Wingspan group has, where people are posting memes and pictures and all of that good stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I'm excited. I said before when I might have cut out to learn more about bees just from the community that we're gonna have come forth for this game and meet a lot of beekeepers and learn about bees dancing and stuff like that.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of funny. It's just I guess because I've proofread for Stonemaier, I had one of the playtesters reach out to me, and he goes, I play tested this very early on, and there's a resource, and he was very concerned about the authenticity of the game, and he was concerned with one of the resources not being a typical one or something like that. And I don't recall the the entirety of that conversation, but what I took from it was that this guy was very interested in the theme, very concerned with the realistic nature of it, and making sure that it that it had the integrity like that Wingspan does. That if bees aren't doing something in real life, they wanted to make sure that at least that it was known that that wasn't normal bee behavior. But that also may have been before space bees, were a thing. So maybe space bees do whatever he was concerned about. Or I do remember at one point the worker bees were actually in the rule book as drones, and Connie had mentioned that that sounded more space bee like, but the other beekeeper, I know Josh Ward had made mention that like, why don't we just call these workers? And I think she was, well, I mean that's what they were to begin with, and then I thought drones sounded sciency, and so then now they're back to workers, and um, yeah, it's just it's cool to hear, like, even like we're in the proofreading process and the collaboration that goes on between not just the publisher and the proofreaders, but also the designer and the proofreaders and the publisher. It's definitely a labor of love, and I'm really happy to see how people seem to be really drawn to it. So I, I almost asked your opinion, and that is not what we're supposed to be doing here. So let's see here. So in any case, the design diaries have been rolling out. Jamie's been doing those. Have you had a chance to read any of those yet? I have not, if I'm being honest. I think I glanced at the first one, but have you had a chance to look at them?
I have not either. I glanced a little quick too, but as you know, the viewers may not know, I just came back from camping, so I've been catching up on everything. I tend to, before I join the mill, read them right away, but now it's fun to save them up a little bit and um, read them back to back and get a good picture of it. So I haven't read any either yet, but I've been following along in the community, so I feel like we probably know some of what's in them
Yeah,
already.
yeah. So last week we teased that there was some news that we would reveal this week on the mill, and just before I forget, I'm going to mention that will be at the end of this video. We'll just go ahead and tack that on there. But the folks from last week, Carol and Molly and Carl and Ryan shared some news, and so we'll go ahead and toss that up on the screen here at the end. But that newsletter, that wasn't just Apiary. We know we're going to be getting a Rolling's Realms realm, but we're also we got a new reveal on one of the titles on Rolling Realms Redux, and that is Legacy of You.
Yes.
That
That should be that's our second reveal, I believe, of the 12.
yeah.
Um, and I'm excited to see those keep streaming in. And every time one's revealed, you get to see a lot of people be like, I knew it, which is so fun. And all the guesses for the ones coming forward. There's only one I'm pretty sure about, but I'm not going to say it until it's revealed. How about you?
Honestly, I most of my ideas came either in the form of fans pointing it out. So nothing. I also couldn't really have any super original thoughts because I think some of these I think I've seen doing some proofreading. Even
Mm.
though I wasn't specifically called on to proofread anything Rolling Realms, it's a big folder, so a little bit of everything in there. But I mean, speaking of a little bit of everything in that proofreading folder, we got some updates on that progress chart this month, and you know, Carl also does a very good job of gathering that up on the Discord. You want to go ahead and go through some of those progress, some of the progress made last month?
For sure. So, the first one that I see here is the Wingspan fan art cards are they're on the boat now, which to me, I believe I'm not going to say for sure. I think means they'll be out in October. I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty excited about those. I have, I think, 4 friends who applied and got accepted. I basically told everyone I know about it. So, and it's fun. Just all the friends I've met in the Stonemaier community. People have shared um cards they have in it or that their children have in it, their partners. It's going to be really cool to have those and know like there's a connection to all these cards. You can seek out the artists and everyone's going to be celebrating a bit that they get to be in the Stonemaier game.
Yeah,
Um,
that's really special to be able to not only, have something that you made published, but also to have it be in a title with as much prestige as Wingspan. That's pretty cool.
and like there'll be different styles. One of them I know is like a paper craft one. It's going to be really cool to go through them.
No kidding.
The
I've
big
not. I don't think I've seen the Papercraft one.
the big task will be everyone who wants to replace them is going to have to go through their big wingspan decks and pull out all the doubles. But it's a chance to go through your cards and have a look at the old art too.
That's true.
Um, and then next on the list, I see the Tapestry revised sieves, which we've been talking about for a bit on the mill since the
Hmm.
start of the year at least, are finally getting pretty close. They're expected Q4 2023, so we should have them by the end of the year. And the revised sieves again are sieves that have been tweaked and balanced to as good as they can be using a bunch of data on Board Game Arena, tracking like thousands and thousands of plays. These sieves won't be needed, of course. Um, Tapestry has been printing like adjustments to the backs of rule books or on the website. But these will be a nice little hard copy, fully definitive ending sealing for Tapestry. Um, just all the sieves revised, balanced to be as most fun as possible. I'm pretty excited for those. How about you, Dusty?
You know what? I am too. There was a little bit of conversation just recently, actually, on I think it was the Tapestry Facebook group, but how some folks are not super excited about the fact that they're doing these sieves, and how when Apiary was announced, I think one of the questions that immediately popped into the Facebook group was whether or not the different factions were thoroughly play tested, or if they were going to be um, supported after launch the way Tapestry was. Which I may have been looking for something in that statement there, but it seemed like the implication was if you support it after launch and have to make changes, that it wasn't sufficiently play tested, and I disagree with that. In theory, I think it's a good thing that that stuff is addressed. Now, I don't personally play at a level that I'm going to notice a big difference. I'm still somebody who's like, I don't think I've ever broken 300. I think probably 200 something, probably low 200 is probably the best I've done. But I personally think it's cool because I know that some of them actually, it's not just like well, we'll adjust a resource one way or the other. It's kind of like a complete design redo on some of those where maybe it was a wall of text on one card and then it was actually moving a cube around on the revision. So I'm really looking forward to it because even if I wouldn't necessarily feel the difference in a rebalancing, if it has some kind of new mechanic that kind of captures that theme better or just captures it differently, because even just out of the box it's fine in my opinion. uh, I think I think it's going to be a cool thing to have. I am curious if there's going to be anybody who hangs on to both sets, whether they keep the ones from the original game and the balanced ones and then makes decisions there. What about you? You think you're going to go ahead and do a full swap out, or are you going to keep them?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the full swap. I think they're a great idea. For me, it's kind of the best of both worlds because they're not needed to buy. So
Mm-hmm.
if you already, if you're not on board for them, you already own the other ones. And if you either want it for more balancing or some of the factions, Jamey didn't rebalance based on how good they did, even. He just, on feedback of they weren't quite as fun as he was hoping.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the alchemists may not have been too strong, but they weren't as fun, so he's made them more fun. So I can see the passion and love, and as like a former before board games, I was really into video games, and patch notes were normal to me. So
Mm-hmm.
I think in when we're going for these games with high asymmetry, I think they're a great way to keep it going and tighten up the game, keep the game fresh. So I'm gonna talk replace them all completely and trust in the process.
That's a good way to do it. I honestly was still kind of deciding what I'm gonna do, but I like that idea there. And me, I'm in the same boat there. From kind of started as a video gamer before a board gamer, so um, well, the oldest games I had didn't get patches because they were just cartridges, but yeah, anything modern for sure. And I actually look forward to those patch notes, so I'm looking forward to the civs.
Yeah, me too. And yeah, I think I've said it all on it, but it to me it's the best of both worlds. If you don't want them, you can still just use the old ones, and we'll all feel like we have a complete tapestry. And I think anyway.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
next on the list is so Expeditions is still on the chart, but it was fully fulfilled. But the thing I wanted to talk about it is the first expansion for Expeditions has popped up and the art is done. That's not that
Yes.
surprising to me. I feel like they probably had a lot of art that they didn't even use for Expeditions ready to go. But
Hmm.
just hearing the art is done makes me excited for the characters we didn't see from Scythe might be in it, or you never know. I'm just excited to see what the Expeditions expansion will bring.
Right, right. Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to, and it's really good timing that you brought that up because I don't know if you had a chance to see it yet because I think Jamey just posted this like as of right now about 30 or 40 minutes ago, but there's actually go to the Expeditions Facebook group, and he's asking opinions on double-sided mats for the mechs, and he's got a prototype on display right there on the Facebook page, and you can see there's no art on it or anything. So I don't know if this is kind of a frame where the mech mats are meant to sit into, or if the one of the possibilities for the expansion is just to outright reprint all of the existing mechs with the dual layers so that you can have the guile and power. Yes, guile and power there. Have that able to kind of like we've seen people doing this 3D printing where there's the places you can set those in. So if you have opinions or if you would like to let Jamey know whether that's something you're interested or not, it is something he's considering for this expansion. So obviously still in a early enough in the process that those changes can still be made. And I do like the fact that we're involved in that decision making again because we've kind of there's been opportunities Jamey's had to kind of ask the community their thoughts, and they were a big part of expeditions, and kind of doing some edits and stuff on the rule book, and I guess that's something else we can mention on Apiary. That's certainly out there right now. So even though we can't
Yeah.
talk about what we've played it or any thoughts on it just yet, that'll be coming October 2nd. At the earliest. October 2nd, there, you can already check out the rulebook, see how it plays, and next week, I believe I heard Jamey's going to go ahead and okay the release of the Automa rulebook, so you should have a full view of what the playing of Apiary looks like.
Yeah, and I think that's great. The rule book published earlier. A lot of people like to learn just off the rule book. So as soon as they can get their hands on it, a lot of people are satiated by that, I feel like.
Yeah, I do. I think there are some folks that don't necessarily need the videos to really tell them how the game plays. Jamey did make mention in one of the design diaries, probably the first one since I know anything about it, that that Connie wrote the rule book and he said it's one of the best rule books he's ever seen. So kudos to Connie for nailing that rule book, but also um, he mentioned that there's a quick teach guide that's in the box that to kind of speed along the learning of the game. And then there's going to be another diced tutorial. So that you can just open that up in the app and watch, and it'll walk you through the first game. And then, of course, a watch it played video. So there's going to be no shortage of ways to go about learning how to play Apiary.
Lots of options. It was nice to see that quick teach guide. I did the front to back rule book read, but my wife, something like that pamphlet is perfect for her. Especially if there's no videos out yet. We both like to watch a video beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
Was a nice rule book though.
Yeah, I mean, I've even everyone, even the people commenting online that weren't playtesters and they're getting their first look at Apiary through the rule book. There's been comments that it's really well done, so that's great to hear. That's awesome.
Yeah. So what's left in the newsletter update is all the code name titles. Sorry. So Codename Fire is coming in 2024. Do you know anything about that one? You can talk about Dusty. We're in a
No, not
territory
that I
now
can
where
talk
I know
about.
nothing. Yeah. We're in a territory now where I know nothing. So
Yeah.
I
Oh,
just
yeah.
it's just my guessing, like, ooh, a fireboard game.
Right. Yes. Yes.
What else
No,
do we
nothing I
have?
could talk about.
Codename Keep. The solo design is finished and graphic design is going on. That should be in 2024. Codename Crow, Wild, Lost, and Bone, and a new one, Codename Cape, are all moving forward at
Hmm.
various steps. We don't know much about them, but we're keeping our eye out. We'll keep
Yeah.
people posted on those.
Yeah, yeah. Cape was one that was on there for a while. Like I want to say Cape was on the list there for a year, and then it went away for a while. And so, kind of curious whether or not the play testing didn't go well, and it was back to the drawing board, or if maybe it wasn't as far along as Jamey originally thought, or if maybe something came out that was already really close to that design, and went back to the drawing board to check it out. But it's good that it's back since it was actually a title that was on the champion shirts. That
Yes.
cape there. Um, but did you guys talk last week about the Libertalia promo pack?
We talked about it briefly with Carl and Ryan.
Okay.
Um, the Jamey mentioned it on his live cast 2 or 3 weeks ago, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And it's coming in 2024, I believe. And
Okay.
I think we're just eagerly awaiting more on it. Do you have any info on it, Dusty?
No, no. In fact, actually seeing it pop up on the newsletter was the first I'd actually heard that anything was in the works for Libertalia. Now I do remember when when Libertalia was a brand new title, and I know that there was some talk of something that was in the original Libertalia that did not end up in Winds of Galcrest, and I don't remember the full details, but I am wondering if this is kind of more gameplay or if it's just different pirates or what that's going to look like. But I got friends that love Libertalia; it's one of their favorite games, and so I'm super excited to hear more.
I think I can speak for everyone when I say what we need in this Libertalia promo pack is a yellow player. It was, it's, I
Gotta have the
have to be
yellow.
red when I play Libertalia.
And see, you need that if you ever play with Jamey. He's going to insist on red, so you're going to need the
Yeah,
yellow.
that's true. Yeah. It's just my safe space, the yellow player.
Yeah.
Um,
Stonemaier Games is, I mean, Jamey's been the face of this for a long time, and as long as, obviously since being one of the founders, now we have Alex and Joe and Suzanne, and we're adding faces and people, but, at the beginning it was Alan and Jamey, and mostly Jamey, and, Jamey is synonymous with his cats, Walter and Biddy, and so I think we probably have to. It's only right to um, honor uh, just the fact that Jamey posted on his personal blog that Biddy has lost his battle with cancer, and they had to say goodbye to him just Thursday night. And so our heart at the mill goes out to Jamey and Megan and Walter and everyone who knew and loved Biddy. I know going forward that it's going to be special drawing those Easter egg cards. The amulet of bravado and expeditions and seeing the boys together again.
in Smitten.
In Smitten. um, yeah, it's he's almost a little board game celebrity himself, and
He is, and I just think it's evident the love Jamie had for Biddy, that there's a whole community out there, so many people in the world in love with these cats too. And I think it's just a testament to his love that shines through on Facebook, on Instagram, in the board games. It's just, it's sad, but we'll all be remembering Biddy.
absolutely. In fact, Jamey hasn't asked anyone to do this, and but I did take it upon myself today. I asked my wife to make a donation to the Humane Society because that is where Jamey got Biddy those years ago, and we also made a donation to the shelter where we got our dogs. And so made a couple of donations. So if you have the resources and if you want to financially pay a little tribute to Biddy, you can might be a cool way to do it and kind of it seems right along the lines of Stonemaier in their donation and their charity drives every year, and the apiary. If we should probably mention that if you go to the Stonemaier Games website and browse the apiary, if you click to be notified of an email, just you're not even saying, hey, I'll buy this game. You're just saying, hey, tell me when it's available for sale. Jamey will make a donation, or Stonemaier Games will make a $1 donation per email to, there's 3 different bee related charities that they're going to go ahead and promote. One of them being pollinators. There was another one that was a local St. Louis charity for local pollinators, and I think one of them was even to provide honeybees for people that would be beekeepers. And so yeah, so just from all of us here at the mill to Jamey, we're terribly sorry for your loss, and yeah, it's hard saying goodbye to a pet. They're 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 every bit as special to us as some of the people that have more vocal and attitudes and are a pain in our ass, but we still love them. Our animals are just a special bond, and so I feel I almost feel stupid. I legit cried, reading Jamey's post, and you like you said, you could really feel the love that he had and has for Biddy, and I hope we continue to see both of them, Biddy and Walter, in Easter eggs to come. But if we don't, I think we understand that that might be difficult. But it'll be nice to see them when they pop up.
It
Um,
will. They're two cats I'll always feel connected to,
yeah.
and that's something for sure.
Hmm.
16 years is not a long time when we bond with these beings just as much as humans. So I really
Absolutely.
feel for Jamey, and I also cried reading it, and I'm trying not to cry right now.
Yeah. I'm doing so much better than I was worried I might, so maybe we can thank the camera for
Yeah,
that.
definitely.
uh, but yeah, I think that's really all we had to talk about this week. And I'll go ahead and throw that teaser video that we recorded last week up here at the end. And that's all I have for you. You want to close us out here, Molly?
Okay, hello everyone. We were interviewing Carol and Ryan last week on the mill, and we had a question that was better put on the end of this video. So I'm going to re-ask the question, and we'll get the answer now. Is there any board game related item you want to talk about or tease for the future?
Yeah, well, I do have a little teaser. I already teased a tip of it last week, and now I can tease the entire content. It's actually the Apiary realm. So the design for the Apiary realm for Rolling Realms. It's again a card from the Rolling Realms XL pack. That is not going to happen. Or maybe it is.
Hey, we can hope.
Yeah, we can hope, but it's not officially. So let me just quickly introduce how the realm works. So it's obviously inspired by the Apiary game, which you'll learn a lot about in the coming weeks. So we do have some space bees here as well, and you can use dice to outline a drone, one of the bees. And you can choose when to age them. So you can choose to either first mark a couple of bees and then age them all at once, because every time you assign a die, you either outline one or you age all the outline bees. And when you age them, so they go, for example, from 1 to 2, and then every bee going from 1 to 2 will get a heart, so will generate a heart. Every bee going from 2 to 3 will generate a pumpkin, and so on, and so on. And so every bee of strength 4 that will age into hibernation will generate a star. But you can only assign a 1, a 2, or a 3 to actually make the drone. So you can't just assign a 4 and immediately age it. So you have to start at level 3, for example, and then age it to 4. So I have an example here of a filled out card. So this is a card where this one started at 2 and it aged to 3 and then to 4. So it generated a pumpkin and a coin. This one fully aged into hibernation, so it generated the star. This one started at the top, and so on and so on. So this is the recipe for a 3-star realm. But maybe it's not finished yet. You'll see. But this is how the game is played. And this is a little scoop for the mill.
Looks like a really fun one. Excited.
Thanks so much. Looks so fun.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for that extra little tidbit. And we'll probably be either throwing it back to Dusty or saying goodbye once again. Yeah. So thanks,
Bye
everyone.
Once again.
Bye.